Hello and welcome to the next part of the tutorial in which we are going to see how to make the game, make this Ganesh celebration project like a real fun game and interactive and allow users to do something and yet have some controls over it. So for instance, here we want the user to use these flowers as decoration, and we want to make sure that the user actually uses it. It's not just you use 4 and you can finish decoration and move the next step. We really want the user to use all of this. Since the flowers are green, I'm going to use a different color background. Now, how do we control this behavior? So what we're using is, in this flower, again, we are using the clones, so I'm not going to go into the details of that. You know how to do it. We are using, we have created 5 costumes and we are randomly showing one of the costumes. If you look at it, you have learned 2 ways to do things. You have seen how to change theme using code, and you have seen how to pick up different flower colors using costumes. And now what we have done is we have set the drag mode to draggable. So basically, sensing is what we are using. Now, if you're not familiar yet with sensing, again, just head back to the Scratch challenges. You can look at challenge 3. It is a good way to get introduced to sensing. Now, once we have created these clones, we are again going to wait. What are we waiting for? We're using another variable and it's called flower decor count. So we don't want to broadcast 10 decor until the player has actually used these flowers. Now, what condition we are using for these flowers to be used? As far as the user has dragged them outside the leaf, we are okay with that. So what is our clone doing? Our clone is waiting in a forever loop. Now, why are we using a forever loop here? Because this is interactive. We do not know when the player is going to use this. So if we keep a forever loop, we allow the code to keep waiting and running and checking until we stop this particular script. Now what we are checking? If not touching PP leaf. So we are using 2 important things here. One is we are using the sensing block touching, because touching gives you a list of all the sprites. So here we are saying if not touching PP leaf. Now what is this not? It's an operator to say if something is reverse. You don't want this code to be executed when it is touching PP leaf. You want this code to be executed when it is not touching. So we are using the not operator. And here we change the flower decor count by 1. That means I have been touched. So 1 flower has been touched. The moment I have been touched, I stop the script. Like now as a clone, I don't have any other counting work to be done. Now each of the clones does this. So each of the clone responsibly does this. That means after all these flowers have been touched, our count would have crossed 8. And the moment the count would have crossed 8, we broadcast 10 decor, and we have a message sprite which is taking care of all the messages. So the moment I receive done decor here, I switch costume to decor done. So whenever you're making a long project, because you're using all events to do it, you don't have to keep running the project from the beginning. You can just broadcast on start decor and test for this step. So if we feel the decoration is done, or if we want to make changes, we can do that. And when we are satisfied with our decoration, we click on decor done. Now once done decor happens, we are giving the next message. So where is that happening? That is happening in when this sprite clicked. So when decor done, we are switching the costume to thread a mala. So this is our next interesting piece, where we are asking the player to thread the mala. Now thread the mala, we have shown a thread and we have shown flowers here. Now what do you think we are doing here for allowing user to thread the mala? So you'll see we are pretty much using the similar concepts. We are using sensing here, and this time if it is touching the mala thread, then we are changing the count. And here, once the mala is threaded, what we are doing is, instead of you showing these individual flowers, we are changing the costume and showing this entire garland, the made garland. So that means once all of them is done, we want to just delete all the clones. We don't want to show individuals one. Right? So we will just delete, and here what we will do is, once it is done, we are switching costume to flower 2. Now you will see there is some additional code here and you are wondering why is it. Now you remember we have 3 choices of Ganpati Murti: large, small and medium. Now imagine putting the same mala size for all 3. Wouldn't it be nicer if there's a large garland for the bigger size and a small one for the smaller one? So that's why I'm saying we already stored this murti size in variables. So based on the murti size, now we are setting the size of the garland, and then we are gliding it to the Ganpati. So we are using the glide to the object. Now for this to work well, your Ganpati should be like really placed central to the costume screen. Otherwise, all these go-to objects to an object, they work based on the center. So if your Ganpati is not placed in the center, then that go-to won't work properly. Now you would have seen all our Ganpatis are placed absolutely in the center. So do look at the last tutorial on how is our Aarti going so perfectly round. What do you think? How are we doing it? Think about it, and we'll get going to the next tutorial.